Hey everyone, this is Peter Estes of ValleyCAD, and this is another Tech Tip Tuesdays. In today's video, what I'm going to show you is how you can export a SOLIDWORKS file as a DWG or a DXF file. For others that might not have SOLIDWORKS but have a 2D drafting software such as AutoCAD or DraftSite, can open the file from you. Okay, so let's hop on over to SOLIDWORKS and see how we can go about this. So as you look on my SOLIDWORKS screen, I got this silhouette of a guitar body that I'm actually designing right now. And this is just the top face of it. And so looking at this, I need to send this off to another manufacturer who doesn't have SOLIDWORKS. So that way they can look at how they're going to mill it out and make it for me. So how I'm going to go about that is I'm going to show you two different ways that I can export from a part file to a DXF/DWG file. So here's the first way to go about that. I'll simply click File, and up here I'll click Save As. When I specify Save As, SOLIDWORKS is going to ask me, hey, do you want to do a standard Save As Copy and Continue, or Save as Copy and Open? Since I'm going to send this out as a DXF/DWG file, I'm just going to simply click Save As. From there, what I can do is under my Save As type, I'm going to specify I want this to be a DXF. Now you could specify DWG if you like. I just generally go after the DXF route. From there, I'll just simply call this CTT001 top, and we'll put this out as OP1. So for my output 1. And I'll simply click Save on that. So after I click Save, you'll see that on my left side of my screen, under the properties, I have DXF/DWG output. And under my export parameters here, I can either do annotation views or I could do faces, loops, and edges. Let's look at the faces, loops, and edges first. What this allows me to do is come in here and click on different faces of my part file. And with that, you'll see that I'm having an issue though, where I can't click on this face. The reason why is because it is not parallel or planar. Okay, this face is actually curved, and so SOLIDWORKS is having an issue of exporting it. Okay, so that's an issue with the faces, loops, and edges. But I could also come in here and specify edges if I wanted to. Since I clicked on that edge, SOLIDWORKS came through and highlighted a lot of things for me. Okay, so let's say I wanted to export everything that I see in this current view. That's where I go to annotation views, and I can specify my current view. Or maybe I want to export my bottom view as well. Or maybe I want to export all of them. And I can do that. It's pretty cool, and I could say select all. Okay, so that's where the differences between faces, loops, and edges come in, and annotation views come in. So if you got a body that has some edges or faces that are not perfectly planar to your current view or of these other faces, you might need to do annotation views. Okay, so let's go back to the faces, loops, and edges and simply click on this face, and let's do this one, and this one, and simply click OK on that. So when it does that, SOLIDWORKS is going to come up with this new window for me, and it's going to show a preview of what my CTT 001 top output 1 will look like. I can come in here and remove entities if I wanted to, but in this application I'm going to say OK to this and simply click Save. And I'm done. This exported out. So let's go ahead and hop on over to DraftSite and open this file up. So I'll simply click Open, and from there I'm going to navigate to my folder that has my custom thin line template, and I want to specify my DXF. Hey, there's my CTT output 1 file. I'll click Open on that. From here, DraftSite is going to open up my 2D file for me, and it's good to go. I can come in here and modify it however I need to for whatever application I might have on this. Okay, so if I need to say, you know what, I actually need to delete this right here, or if I need to copy it, I could do that. So simply applications like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and minimize this again. Let's hop on over to SOLIDWORKS. So I was talking about there were two ways to export out, right? Let's look at the other one. The other one is simply right-clicking on anywhere in your model space, and you specify export to DXF DWG. This activates the exact same command. Okay, it's just different ways of going about it. As I've done some other tech tip videos in Just a Thought Thursdays, there might be applications where you might export out as a DXF DWG and you did the save as function, and SOLIDWORKS crashes on you. It happens. It actually happened to me earlier today. And so you might find that, you know what, my SOLIDWORKS is more stable when I come in and right click on a face and export that out. I generally have the habit of right clicking and selecting export to DXF/DWG. It is totally useful in either route. Okay, so I'll simply click on that. It's going to come up with the same save as parameter. It's the exact same tool. Okay, it's just a different way of going at it. So we'll say that we'll call this OP2, like so. And we'll simply click save on that. And from here, SOLIDWORKS is going to automatically be in the faces, loops, and edges parameters because I selected a face when I did this. Now, this time I'm going to do annotation views, and I'm going to specify my front view. Okay? From there, I'm going to say OK to this. And SOLIDWORKS is going to come up with the same window, but you're going to see this window is a little different. It's going to also include these faces that were not planar at first. Okay, so this is where using annotation views can actually be really useful, as I was stating earlier. So I'll simply click save on that and be cool. I'm done. Not bad. So let's hop on over to draft site and let's see what that looks like now. So I'll simply come over here and we'll click open again and switch this to DXF, and let's look at output 2. So give it a moment to open up, and there we go. So now we can see my tangent edges that I had, and it was exported out as a spline or a polyline for me, I believe. It is a polyline. And also what's really cool is it sent it out as dashed or construction lines. Okay, so I think it's a very useful tool. So you can see that there's two ways of exporting out a DXF/DWG file from selecting a part and doing it from a part file. Now let's look at one more parameter on that, and what we're going to do this time is look at a simple sheet metal part. So let's go back to SOLIDWORKS here. So let's come in here and let's look at my CTT002 file. With this one, what I want to do is export this out as well, but this is a sheet metal part. Okay, so there's going to be actually an extra variable that we can work with when we do our export function. So same application, I'm going to simply right click on a face and say export to DXF DWG. Now there's something that I need to do before I do this. So what I like to do is come over to my flat pattern folder, and I like to flatten my sheet metal part prior to doing this export. Okay, so this is really useful because, you know, something like this is going to be made on a laser cutter or a fiber cutter or even a water jet cutter. This is how it's going to look when it's being cut. And so that's why SOLIDWORKS has a great flat pattern tool, so you can flatten out your sheet metal parts. So now I got this flattened. I'm going to right click and say export to DXF DWG. Once again, save as, and we'll call this output 3. Like so. Okay? And with that, this is actually 002, like so. And so I'll simply click save, and from there, it's going to say, hey, you can do faces, loops, and edges, or you can do annotation views. But there's that third one at the very top. When SOLIDWORKS sees that you're working with a sheet metal body that you're trying to export out, SOLIDWORKS will actually allow you to export it as a sheet metal function. And so you can export the geometry, which is checked by default. That's everything that you see that's currently gray on my screen. But also I can export out hidden lines. And I can also, or bin lines, I mean. So the bin line, it's a little hard to see, but it's this dotted line going across. As I rotate it, you could kind of see it easier there. And so that dotted line is actually a bin line. So I could export that out if I wanted to. And also I could export a bounding box if needed, forming tools, library features. Pretty awesome output options there. I'll simply click on the green check mark though. And with that, SOLIDWORKS is going to come up with that same black window for me. It's going to be in a flat view. There it is. And remember I said specify those bin lines, right? Well, there it is right there. Okay, so I could simply click save on that. And now I exported this part file as a DXF. Sweet. Now, let's say we're working in an assembly. So let's go to my guitar assembly that I have. And looking at this, I want to try the same thing. So I'll just simply come in and right click on a face, or I could come up to File, Save As. Let's see if this works. So let's go to File, Save As. And we'll just simply click Save As on it. And I want to save it as that DXF or DWG file. Okay, so it's towards the bottom and uh-oh. Looks like it's not there. What happened to it? Well, here's the reason. You cannot export from a SOLIDWORKS assembly file to a DXF/DWG file. What you'll have to do is create a drawing, a SOLIDWORKS drawing file of the assembly and export that out as a DXF DWG. So I already started making a SOLIDWORKS drawing here. And what I can simply do is take this and do a save as DXF DWG. So I'll simply come over here, File, Save As, and from there, Save As Type, there's my DXF or DWG file output. So in this one, I'll say DXF again, and we'll just call it the body assemb and click Save on that. So now after I did that, SOLIDWORKS is not going to come up with that black window. It's just going to simply export out as a SOLIDWORKS drawing file to a DXF file. Okay, so let's see how that looks when I open it up in DraftSight. So we'll simply come over here and we'll click Open. And we're going to switch to a DXF file format. And there's my body assemb. So let's give it a moment, let it open it up here. And we'll see that it's going to import the border of my SOLIDWORKS drawing file, all the text on it, the picture, everything is going to be transferred over to DraftSight. Now this is a really useful tool. Once again, if you wanted to share files with someone else, but you don't want to give them the SOLIDWORKS files, because sometimes SOLIDWORKS files are larger than a standard 2D file, that's where you do this. Or maybe you don't want to share all the information that you had when you were designing your product, such as like my guitar body here, and I wanted to share the 2D image of it, my two orthographic views and my pictorial view, but I didn't want to have the end user see all the components I designed. I would make a simple DXF and send it off that way for them. Okay, so these are 3 ways to be able to make a DXF/DWG file from SOLIDWORKS. Okay, so the one that I generally use is from a part file, right click on the body, export to DXF/DWG, and specify what faces or edges I want to export. When you have a part file that has faces that are not planar, you will want to use the annotations form, and that will allow you to export. If you have if your body's on a front view, you'll export everything that sees on that front view. You can also export more than one view at one time if you'd like. Now, if you're in an assembly, you need to make a SOLIDWORKS drawing file first and then save that as a DXF or DWG file. Okay, so once again, my name is Peter Estes. I'm the owner of ValleyCAD. We are a mechanical engineering and a product design firm. On top of that, we also supply drafting services. We do reverse engineering, 3D printing, and also 3D CNC carving. Quite a few services. Hop on over to our website, www.valleycad.com. On there, you can actually see all the other services we provide as well, such as SOLIDWORKS training. So if you got a new engineer on staff, or you just purchased SOLIDWORKS, and you're just like, we're having an issue with this aspect of SOLIDWORKS, or how can we streamline it for our applications, give us a call. We'll be happy to see what you're having issues with. We're happy to come on site and help, or we could do webinars with you as well. Okay, so once again, my name is Peter Estes. You are watching a ValleyCAD video. Please like and subscribe to our ValleyCAD YouTube page. We are also on Twitch, Instagram, and Facebook. Just simply type in @ValleyCAD and you'll be able to find us. Okay, so once again, thank you for watching this video, and hopefully you got something out of it. Leave us comments. What did you get out of it? Are there other ways that you create DXF or DWG files from SOLIDWORKS? And why are some of the ways that you do that as well? So once again, have a great rest of the day and make sure you learn something new. See ya.